Welcome back to the St. Paul Citadel Corps Salvation Army Gym, downtown St. Paul, where the Broncos will complete their season opening weekend in the NPBA as soon as we find out which ball has been properly inflated. Because the last thing we would need is a ball that doesn't bounce the way it's supposed to. That would really give us some dead air, wouldn't it? It's the Minnesota Broncos and the Green Bay Guardians. Broncos coming off that big 115-89 win last night over the Canada Kings. And we did get all of the names and numbers in order today. So when we get started, which will happen shortly, Green Bay will start Damian Hansbrough, Jabril Franklin, Dwayne Brantley, Nicholas Wright, and Marcel Kemp. The Broncos will start George Alhaag, Jalen Hollins, Decoy Hines, Reggie Rogers, and Matthew Hoffrening. And as we noted yesterday, some of the Bulldogs players from the NBL crossing over to the Broncos because the Broncos are the only Minnesota team in this NPBA. And that means rivals become friends. It is a little interesting because when we came here for NBL games, they did have an air pump over at that stage where we put our GoPro cam to make sure the balls were properly inflated. Green Bay with a smaller contingent today. 7 players in uniform. Broncos bringing their whole squad. But they do have enough to field a full team. Slightly smaller crowd today, but it is a Sunday. It's also the first weekend of AAU for boys and girls basketball, and yesterday also brought forth the All-Star Series for both the boys and the girls. The seniors getting a send-off. The McDonald Award, Mr. Basketball winner, Christian Wiggins of Wayzata, and Miss Basketball Minnesota, probably no surprise, Madden Greenway, who was playing in Portland at the Nike Hoop Summit yesterday, representing Team USA. We're underway. Now, some folks like Hoffrening did not play yesterday. It's Green Bay with the first move, Marcel Kemp on the dribble drive. And we do play with NBA rules. The officials did call the games a little more loosely than what we were used to in the NBL. And so despite the late start, things moved along at a pretty good clip. Matthew Hoffrening, he brings that masterful inside presence. Hollins, one of the Bulldogs crossovers to Reggie Rogers. Reggie didn't have a huge scoring role in yesterday's victory, but he is one of the team's emotional leaders, as we saw in the post-game interview and in our chat with him yesterday. We spoke with Kavaarian Williams today, and Marcel Kemp speaking in volumes. Back-to-back buckets to start this game to give the Guardians an early 5-0 lead over the Broncos. Entry pass tipped, stolen. It's Kemp again. Can't take it all the way, but he is fouled. He'll shoot 2. Now the NPBA, from what I was able to gather yesterday, not up to date with records, stats, and the like. They are one of the newer leagues. Kemp knocks down both free throws. I do see a familiar face. That is the owner of the Bulldogs, Michael Wright. Checking out several of his players. Hollins. Bounce pass to absolutely no one. A little miscommunication on the route. And Green Bay with a 7-0 lead. And in our interview with Kavaarian Williams and yesterday with Reggie Rogers, a lot of these guys know each other. As Green Bay gets a timeout call in with 10:26 in the first, the Broncos do like to employ those traps up top. But everybody knows each other for the most part, because if you watched our NBL coverage, the Broncos and Bulldogs had some emotional photo finishes against each other, but a lot of them come from the same cloth, or cut from the same cloth. That's how the saying goes. But coming over from an opponent to a teammate does take a little getting used to, and maybe that's why we're seeing this quick 7-0 start for the Guardians of Green Bay. But again, at halftime, we will run our interview with Kavaarian Williams, who holds some scoring records in Broncos history, played with the Bulldogs the last couple of years. Three ball. Kemp. Missed from the corner. Matthew Hoffredding with the rebound. Broncos love to run outlets, but they couldn't get the finish that time. They had a little trouble yesterday. Rogers nearly picks the ball away from Kemp. Shovel pass over to Wright, and the Guardians have to go back out. Now, with the Guardians just having 7 players, you do get the extra foul at this level, but that is going to put an impetus, an imperative on playing clean basketball. Stamina, endurance could also be a factor. Rogers from the corner, long on the 3. Hoffredding using his vertical. Alhaig nearly bobbles the shovel pass, but recovers in time to get the Broncos on the board. Alhaig, an inside threat, as we saw in the NBL and yesterday. Takes the loose ball, stutter steps, and finishes. On cue. That was more of a fast break, but again, Alhaig, a scoring threat when he can get position near the rim. Here comes that double team trap. Guardians get out of it. Kemp calling for it, fires the 3. Bullseye. Marcel Kemp, all 10 of Green Bay's points. Hollins, straightaway 3, off the rim. Hoffredding, another O-board. Barrels his way to the bucket. He's on the board. Franklin with the catch. Got tripped up, and that's a foul. And everybody helping him up. Three ball, corner pocket. Damian Hansbrough. And you could not ask for a better start from the Guardians. Of course, it is still really early. Eric Chu loses the ball. Green Bay wants to go, go, go. Look out below. Clean up on aisle 3. Chu gets back up. Kemp launches again. No 3 this time. Rebound, Franklin. He'll back off. Kemp fakes, avoids the defender, and draws the foul. I'm getting tired just watching. How about you? Marcel Kemp. Piling up points early. Knocks down the free throws. And we've got some subs. We'll talk more about them after the timeout. As Anthony Larkin and myself have noted over the last several years, a lot of these men have high school and college backgrounds. Marcel Kemp, who's already up to 12 points, hailing from Appleton, Wisconsin. A graduate of Green Bay East. Of course, when it comes to Green Bay, you know them primarily for football, with how prominent the Packers are in the eastern part of Wisconsin. I have to imagine several of these Guardians are probably Packers fans. E.J. Haymore looking for the three, can't connect. Guardians swing it out. That's Davion Cargile. His three clinks off the front iron. Rebound, Al Haig. Ball knocked away. Haymore recovers. It was touched by Green Bay, so no backcourt violation. Three-ball corner pocket for one of the newcomers, J.J. Montana. J.J. had a splendid performance yesterday, scoring 19 off the bench, if memory serves. Side out for the Guardians. Hopefully, as folks from the NPBA watch this, I'll have a better sense of records and standings in future contests. Chu attacks, too strong. That was one of the sore spots yesterday for the Broncos. As we said, they had some bumps along the way where they needed a little more finesse on those fast breaks. Foul and free throws coming for Nicholas Wright. With 6:31 left in the first. It's taking me a minute to adapt to these Green Bay uniforms because they bring an offset LA Lakers vibe. More of an orange and purple as opposed to the gold or yellow and purple. But those of you who have followed the NBA, I think, understand what I'm talking about. Empty possession for the Guardians. Broncos trailing 15-9. Montana driving kick. Eric Chu, bullseye. I don't think he brought his arms down for that three, but it goes in. That's what counts. Here is a Steph Curry three, but it clanks off the back of the cylinder for Marcel Kemp. This is Hollins. Fakes. Broncos will run a set, but Montana dribbled right into the path of Antonio Combs. Fadeaway blocked by Hollins. Montana one-on-one, held up, and I believe will shoot two. J.J. Montana did not play in the NBL. But he is a welcome addition to the Broncos roster if the reception from yesterday's post-game interview was any indication. Big win by the Broncos, 115-89. Split at the line for Montana. Not a lot of free throws yesterday for the Broncos, not that they needed much. Kemp puts back his own miss. 14 points. All but 3 points for the Guardians. The poke. Cologne didn't sense a defender coming. That is a walk. Antonio Combs tried the fake. That last-minute disruption by Hollins got to him. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Cologne nearly had his pocket picked again. He's going to have to be mindful, but he's able to recover and race his way to the rim. But what happened with Kemp, he came up and then came back down. Kemp, he's playing so hard, he lost his shoe. This guy is an all-out effort kind of athlete. But again, if you are looking up Basketball for Dummies, once you make your jump, you either have to pass or shoot. If you come back down with the ball, that's a travel. Shovel pass. They're looking for Combs. Instead, we'll have a jump. Before that, everyone will wipe up a wet spot. Tip in one by the Guardians, but they're going to have to move quickly. The shot clock only goes to 14. And now the Broncos employing that trap. Guardians break free, but they've got to move. Montana with the rebound. Everyone stopped for a moment until Montana said, go! Amor short on the three. Kemp all alone. 16 for the Green Bay East graduate. The one-man show for the Guardians. Long skip pass. Amor up and in. Amor's on the board. Yeah, that's a walk. I have not seen that happen before. Antonio Combs just slipped. It's as if he were playing Mario Kart and hit a banana peel. I know there were slick spots in the days of the Met Center when the state basketball championships were held there. Broncos ball, 4:04 left in the first. Hoffrening goes around opposite side. You don't see too many layups scored like that. Soft pass and Cologne. Right idea, just ran out of real estate. Again, the Broncos love to trap, so you really got to be careful for those corners. There was some contact. Replay on. 3 on the way. Short. Guardians crashing the glass. Montana, with 3 jerseys around him, draws the foul and gets the bailout call. And a frustrated Damian Hansbrough, he knew he had Montana bottled up and locked up, in the proverbial sense, of course. The only lockups we're going to have here are lockdown defense, things of that sort. I'll show myself out. 19-all. Broncos looking to take their first lead. Haymore gets the Plinko bounce and does just that. But he gets a little too close. And I'm laughing not because of the foul call, but Reggie Rogers. I told you, he's the emotional leader of this team. And there's some discrepancy over the procedures. That's the 5th foul on the Broncos, so that should mean free throws for the Guardians, since we are playing with pro rules, and indeed we will have free throws. We're getting a few more spectators filing in on this Sunday afternoon. It's 2 shots, folks. In high school and college, it would be 1-1. The men's college game, that is. The women play with pro rules now, for the most part. But I digress. Green Bay, though, 6 of 8 from the free throw line. That could go a long way. Cologne, straightaway 3. Long. Rebound secured by Hansbrough. Dribble drive, a couple of extra passes. Sets up a 3 from the corner. Montana, another rebound. Haymore. Inside to Montana. A lot of traffic. Clean block. Guardians, 3-on-1. Coast to coast runner for Davion Cargyle. A little bit of a shove from Hollins on Jabril Franklin. And a near steal on the part of Nicholas Wright. Hollins to Cologne. Catch and shoot 3. Blanks off the iron again. 23-21 Guardians. Miss out on a fast break chance. Ball was last touched by Green Bay. Under 2 minutes to go in the first. Green Bay with the deflection. Michael Wright trying to bring the energy. Cologne finds Hoffredding. How in the world did he hook him up? From my vantage point, Cologne was driving right into traffic, a dead stop, and a late blocking foul. Decoy Hines thinks differently, but I did see a bump. But going back to that last play, Cologne, I don't know how he managed to connect with Hoffredding because I didn't see any open seam. That was one of the sneakiest passes I've seen since I started covering the Broncos and the Bulldogs going back to last summer. You remember that preseason game. A lane violation was called, so Hansbrough gets a do-over. And he makes both. I thought I heard lane violation, but I don't know how you would get a lane violation on your first free throw. Now, Gary, if you're watching this, maybe you can explain it. No explanation necessary for that play. Haymore, the bounce pass to Hines. And the Broncos getting some more interior penetration now as we're tied at 25. Again, I'm curious how the Guardians will hold up in the later stages, but they're looking quite spry right now as Jabril Franklin demonstrates. 3 ball. Hines misses from the corner. Long carom makes its way to Hollins. Cologne to Haymore. Long 3. Short. Hines tips the rebound to Hollins. Pulls up from 15. Got it. All boards lead to second chances. And second chances can lead to points. Guardians in a jam. Hines fouls. Nicholas Wright. And I am not an official, nor do I plan to be, but I think that was a pretty clear foul call. Nicholas Wright knocks down the front end. He's the only player who has recorded a miss at the line. He splits there. Green Bay 9 of 12, shot clock and game clock identical. Cologne. He's been getting rattled, but Hines locked in. The laser entry to Hoffrenning. Time for the Guardians for one more shot. They've got a good look down low. Hoffrenning cuts off Wright, and that brings the first quarter to an end. Green Bay got off to the hot start thanks to 16 from Marcel Kemp. But the Broncos, utilizing the balance that Reggie Rogers highlighted yesterday, take a 1-point lead, 29-28, after 1 quarter of play.
Twin City Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
James, she's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Matthew Hoffrenning, 8 points. Marcel Kemp, again, 16 to lead Green Bay, but the rest of the team is just 12. How will those trends play out as we make our way through? We'll find out. Shot clock winding down. Cologne kicks out. 3 ball. Off the rim. That's Kavaarian Williams. A catch and shoot 3 on the other end for Damian Hansbrough. His second 3. Green Bay, the Guardians leading early. Hoffrenning faking the three. Williams will try again. Can't connect a second time. Rebound secured by Hansbrough. Through the lane, short. And he knew it. He knew he passed up a good chance. Ayers recovers and lays it in. Cargyle. Kick out. 3 on the way. Off the rim. Rebound Hollins. 31-30, and the Broncos nearly throw it away. They get it across in time. Hollins fires off the heel. Guardians execute in transition. Combs with the bucket. Ayers. Shot clock winding down. Pass intercepted. Getting ahead is Cargyle, and he lays it in. That will lead to a Broncos timeout, 34-31, 9:52 left in the second. Back to action, 34-31. Broncos having a little trouble on these short bounce passes. Cologne will check out, Rogers will check in. Stephen Cologne has a couple of points, but finding himself flummoxed with the hand checks by Green Bay. Kemp gets one from behind, and Hollins throws it down. Slid through his lone defender like butter. Cargyle relegated to spectator. Kemp thought about it, drains the three. 37-33. Guardians with a 4-point lead over the Broncos. Alhay. Guardians get set. Extra pass. Wright was open underneath, but couldn't put it down. Chu. Oh, didn't know Wright was there. And now the Guardians have a transition layup, or I should say tip in. I thought it was going to be a layup, but Combs cleans up the mess. Green Bay just a little quicker on defense. Hollins flexing his quickness. He's got 6. Kemp fouled. He was held by the arm. Green Bay looking to go inside again. That doesn't work, so Cargyle tries the long option, the long ball. Shot also goes off the rim. Another O-board for Green Bay. Getting after it, but Hines catches up to the loose ball. Rogers tripped up. Green Bay gets another free ball. Rogers slid on the floor, and that's why he got tagged for traveling. Alhaig gets in front of it. Eric Chu had his cadence disrupted. Alhaig followed and got the Broncos a bucket. The physicality stepping up to insane levels right now as Alhaig gets fouled underneath the rim. Alhaig, 6 points, now 7. Second trip to the line for the Broncos. And Alhaig ties it up at 39. This one, a close affair. We spoke of the difference in roster size between the two sides as Franklin converts the bunny, but you also have a back-to-back for the Broncos. We know how that can be taxing all the way up to the pros, even though some players didn't see action yesterday. So two contrasting trends. 41-39. Pass tipped, Alhaig snatches it. Collision, that leaves Jalen Hollins wide open, short on the three. I don't blame him for trying it because that was the open look. A couple of Guardians players were camping in the lane. Wayne Brantley knocked off balance. Cargyle with the fast break play on the other end. And the Broncos respond with a three of their own. Guardians looking for the answer. Kemp hits the front iron. But a free ball for the Guardians, as Rogers couldn't catch up to the ball in time. Now the Guardians connect. Marcel Kemp switches sides. 4 triples. Alhaig finds Montana. Last minute dish, and Montana with a chance at 3. 5:18 left in the second, 46-44. 3-point play for J.J. Montana. Oh, Green Bay had the fast break play lined up, and then the cross-court pass clanks off the backboard. Now the Broncos have it. Kari Dennis chest checked into the game. Did not play yesterday, but he's cut off. Finds Rogers up the middle. His kick-out pass read by Jabril Franklin. 1-point lead for the Guardians. The leaner, not enough for Hansbrough. Alhag, one-on-one. Took the tough route, but the rebound bounces his way to Hoffrening, and he'll clean up the mess. Hoffrening with 10. I thought Alhag might go into the rim. Holy roller, Batman! Cargyle getting the definition of a friendly roll. And again, Montana in a tough spot, but puts back his own miss. Sometimes you get rid of the ball just to position yourself for that rebound and putback. We're tied at 49. Montana with 9. Again, had a good showing yesterday. Kemp, look out. Long three, tracked down by Hoffrening, who is then swarmed. Kemp again, buries it. Five three-pointers for Marcel Kemp. He's got 25 points. Dennis, shovel to Montana. Yes. And JJ getting some inside scoring. But the Broncos using their three-point shooting to hang on to that small lead, 52-51. Guardians on the move. Hoffrening tried to stop Combs, and then Montana swooped in, but Antonio pushes through the contact. 54-51. Dennis looking for Hoffrening, can't find him. And the team with just 7 players available still hanging tough against the Minnesota Broncos. Following his own miss, at least for the moment, was Antonio Combs. Hoffrening through traffic. Count it. Hoffrening did not play yesterday. I should point out Darian Thomas not in the lineup today for the Broncos. Coming in is Adam Wright. Hoffrening completes the three-point play, and that evens the score at 54. Hoffrening with 13. Alhag getting after the loose ball. Green Bay picks it up. Another three. It's Cargyle. Swish. Dennis. Nowhere to go. Cargyle pinched him off. And on the other end, the Broncos get in there. It will be a side out for Green Bay. Again, smaller roster for the Guardians, but as I noted in the game with Canada, these players all know each other. They didn't have to grab last-minute replacements. Holland sensed an opportunity and runs with it. Holland's with 8. Reggie yesterday said there were a lot of good teams here as Kemp showcasing his three-point mastery. 6 trays for Marcel Kemp, 28 points. Hollins will shoot 2. Hollins, 8 points, 6 in this quarter. And I don't have the full schedule yet for NPBA games, but as they come in, we'll do our best to continue our Broncos coverage. And we also hope to start our women's NBL coverage with Queens of the Court. That is the women's team for Minnesota. Alhaig, Cleveland. I knew that was going to happen with the Cleveland Guardians, and Hollins gets a three-point play in reverse. I meant to say Green Bay, where you're laying back a little bit. That allowed Alhaig to get the rebound. And now the Broncos can retake the lead after forcing a turnover. Montana with a little clutch run to the rim. These two continue to throw haymakers. Kemp, the lob, baseline jumper, short. Box out by Wright. Amor gets the rebound. Here comes Montana. Had his drive disrupted. Green Bay thriving in transition. But Hollins got in there in the nick of time for the stop. Still Green Bay ball. They want the 3. They've got it. Cargyle with 17 and 13 in this quarter. Shot clock off. Broncos can hold. Cargyle, 3 triples now. Broncos, do they have another play? They're going to have to launch a deep 3. And that takes us to halftime. So Green Bay able to fend off that Broncos defensive assault and apply some of their own. 63-61 is the score at halftime. Still a close game, but the Broncos will have to contend with the continuity of the Green Bay Guardians. In the meantime, let's take you to that interview we had with Kavaarian Williams, who has spent time with both the Bulldogs and the Broncos. We'll be back for the second half. This is NPBA basketball on TSB Television.
When the high school season is over, TSB Television goes on the highlight trail. Our highlight reels provide you with a valuable resource for recruiters and a keepsake of your favorite athlete. To learn more about our highlight reel services, contact us at tsbtelevision@gmail.com.
We're joined by Kavaarian Williams of the Broncos, one of the Minnesota Bulldogs crossovers from NBL to NPBA. Kavaarian, I know you had quite the run with the Bulldogs this season, winning a division title, but new league, new teams, new faces, and new teammates. What does it mean for you to have a bunch of teammates that you were going up against pretty hard in that NBL regular season series?
Yeah, I mean, it's always competitive, but just adapting to each player and see how they play as we played against them. I feel like it'll be an easy, nice little gel. We all have good team chemistry as we already did in practice, so I feel like it'll be a good challenge.
And what have you learned so far with the Broncos? A lot of Bulldogs crossovers and a lot of regulars on the Broncos side. So you know a lot of these players. What is it like changing teams and adapting to that new process?
I mean, it's still basketball at the end of the day, so we all come, lift each other up, bring high spirits, push each other to go further, and yeah, it'll be nice.
One thing I like to ask of the players, if you don't mind, give us a little bit of your background, because a lot of these guys played high school, college, some professionally overseas. What's your background in basketball and what led you here?
I've been playing basketball since I was probably like 8 or 7 years old. Went to Minnesota Transitional High School, graduated from there, played there. After there, joined the NBL League, had a couple tryouts with G League teams. Ken Charge is one of them. And didn't get a chance to go to college, but I still got the opportunity to go further and continue my experience. So.
And what would you make of your G League experience? We hear about it quite a bit with some of the prospects, some of the players in development. There were some Minnesota recruits who started there before finding their way to NBA teams. So what is it like being a G Leaguer?
It's good. You learn a lot of patience in different aspects of the game. So it was a great experience for me. So yeah, like it's nice.
I would assume so, and getting that chance to play, I think it's a great avenue for players that are trying to break in. You didn't play last night, but you were here, got to see the Broncos put together their first, I think, all-around performance. They came close in a couple of road games, picked up their first win in this league. What do you like so far, and where do you want to see this team grow as they continue spring and summer play?
Their defense is immaculate, so that's one of their strong points that I see. They like to trap a lot, and they gel together. They talk amongst each other and swing. They unselfish, swing the ball amongst each other and push each other to do better. So I feel like their defense is the top thing, though.
So what do you hope to contribute today after getting a chance to see it in action last night?
I just get in where I can fit in. Like, hopefully I find my spots, find my teammates, and we work as a team.
And so what keeps you coming back to this sport of basketball? For a lot of these men, and I've covered semi-pro women as well, they have that itch. It just doesn't go away. If you're in this game, broadcaster, player, whatever, I've learned over the years you can't leave. What brings you back to the hardwood every year?
The love of the game. Like, the fire never dies, so I'm still here, still learning, helping others. So, yeah, the love of the game, for sure.
That can carry you places. Are there any fun facts or unusual tidbits, just interesting things about yourself that you'd like to share?
Not really. Just a all-around happy person, so you're going to see me joking a lot on the bench, but it's just to keep everybody's spirits high and keep them level-headed in the game.
Do you have a go-to or a favorite joke or one-liner or quip to keep the mood vibrant?
You can't beat me.
Well, depending on the competition, I may dispute that, but when it comes to basketball, you are right. I cannot beat you. Before we go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Just everybody out there, how y'all doing? Hope everything's good. Have a great day.
Thanks for stopping by, Kavaarian, and good luck today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Kavaarian Williams of the Minnesota Broncos.
Mic'd Up Sports is TSB Television's talk show series. Available on all major podcast platforms, we offer sports figures, past and present, a place to convey stories and adventures on a deeper level than our traditional game coverage. Whether you're a superstar athlete or someone who works behind the scenes, we'd be honored to share your story. If you'd like to be a guest, contact us at The Mike Peden on all major social platforms.
Second half about to start, 63-61. The Green Bay Guardians leading the Minnesota Broncos. The Guardians holding a small edge throughout the second quarter. And a lot of it has to do with their speed and continuity. Broncos had plenty of it themselves, but the Green Bay Guardians 7 holding their own against a deep Broncos roster. First half numbers, Marcel Kemp, 28 points to lead the Guardians. Davion Cargyle, 17 points, 13 in the second quarter. Hansbrough with 8. On the Broncos side, Hoffrenning and Montana, 13 each. Hollins with 11, Alhaig 8. Those are your notables for the Broncos as we wait to get things back in order. And it might start once we get the ball sorted out. We had a little bit of an issue with that at the start, but it will be a few weeks, I think, before the next game. Hollins went from 0 to 60 in 3.5. Took the keys, so I'll shut up and drive. I'll show myself out again. Hollins, 11 points in the first half, 9 in the second quarter. Broncos 5 of 8 at the free throw line in the first half. Guardians 9 of 12. Hollins knocks down the freebies. And we're tied at 63. Guardians started the game with a 9-point lead, and the Broncos with the steal and fast break layup for Reggie Rogers. Reggie, again, doesn't score a lot, but one of the team's emotional leaders. Kemp, oh boy, that goes over the backboard, off the support beam. Dead ball rebound to the Broncos. Montana almost lost it. Hoffrenning swoops in for the save. Alhaig, 3-ball, corner pocket. And the Broncos off to a quick start in the third. It was a wire-to-wire victory over the Canada Kings yesterday. Again, Canada getting shorted on the roster. Several substitutions had to come in to complete the contingent. Green Bay doesn't have that same situation. Alhaig around the screen. Rogers launches. That goes off the backboard, right back to him. He dumps it down to Alhaig. No, Hoffrenning is there for the weak side tip-in. And the Broncos, they used a big run to open the third quarter yesterday in the win over Canada. Nicholas Wright puts back his own miss and collects his first field goal. Foul as Antonio Combs makes contact with Hollins. Again, Hollins, Haymore, Cologne, Williams. I think Dennis among the Bulldogs crossovers. Whoa! Hollins took exception, took that personally, got back for the fast break stop. Reggie Rogers missing the three. Hoffrenning, rebound. And he's piling up rebounds and points in quick succession. Hoffrenning with 17. But he is the inside man. Nicholas Wright, another layup for him. Hoffredding goes back to Rogers. Rogers collects again. Rogers, the Minneapolis Roosevelt graduate, played under the tutelage as Alhaig misses of Rob Mestas. That's a foul on Hoffredding. Rob Mestas, the 1995 Mr. Basketball Minnesota winner. Would later play his college ball at Miami, Ohio. One of his teammates, Wally Zerbiak. Kemp went across. Tough look. That's a sweet spot, but no three that time. Hollins with the rebound. Racing down court again to Alhaig. That's where Alhaig thrives most. Really loves to flourish those transition takes. Another missed three. Chance for the Broncos to pad their lead. They scored the first 7 of the third. Whoa, Hoffredding didn't know who was there. That was an ill-advised pass. Dead ball rebound to Minnesota. Montana bounce pass inside to Hines, up and in to Coy Hines. Just his second field goal. But that does give the Broncos a 9-point lead, their largest. Guardians break free for a moment. Maybe got a little too unselfish at the end. They do hang on to it with the side out. 8:07 left in the third. Again, couldn't find any data on the NPBA with regard to records and standings. But maybe that will change once they get a chance to see these games. Hines fouling right, and Nicholas will go to the line for 2. He is the only player who has missed at the free throw line so far. Right, still struggling. Empty possession with the loose ball. Finds its way to the Broncos. The shot clock, there we go. Hines, straightaway 3, off the heel. Combs with the rebound, and we remain in a 9-point game, 76-2, yes, 6-7. I think we've gone past the 6-7 phase, though, compared to the fall. Hollins gathers, takes off. Hines didn't have control of it. And now the Guardians with numbers. Missed layup. And then Chu bumps Hansbrough from behind. Damian to the line for 2. Hansbrough knocks down his free throws. Guardians 11 of 16. But again, Hansbrough and Kemp hitting their marks. Eric Chu doing the same for the Broncos. Again, the Broncos looking to utilize that balance. Only 7 for the Guardians, so everyone has to do their part. Spin move and the finish for Marcel Kemp. He goes up to 30. 78-71. Alhag blocked by Kemp. Numbers again for Green Bay. A block the other way by Hines. But Chu throws it right into Kemp's hands. 3 is short, but that could have been disastrous. Alhag, handoff, Cologne. Hasn't found his three-point mark today. Side out for the Broncos. Collins got caught in a tough spot. Couldn't break free of Cargyle, and it was last touched by the Guardians. Officials had not signaled to resume play. The inbound got away, so they had to bring everybody back. Alhag misses the long jumper, so no harm, no foul. It made for an amusing sight. Everybody was going the other way, and Cologne is like, wait a minute. Green Bay again struggling to finish at the rim. Cologne almost picked from behind again. Chu left alone. Can't drain the corner 3. So we're in a stalemate of sorts right now. 78-71. Kemp loses his shoe again. Timeout was called. 78-71. A wild sequence this is. I'm wearing a headset, so I can't make out every word in detail the coaches are relaying to their teams, but the Green Bay Guardians coach, a touch of apoplectic behavior, and I can understand that. The Guardians in this quarter struggling to finish those layups, those inside plays that they capitalized frequently in the first half. And a 7-point game is nowhere near a danger zone, but it could get dicey. Green Bay looking for another 3. Kemp comes up long after a near passing error cost them a possession. Or could have cost them a possession, I should say. Hoffrenning, that pinball's off of Chu, Green Bay ball. Hoffrenning looking for the foul call, saying, that guy was all over me. Meanwhile, Reggie Rogers is having a laugh with his, I should say, the team entourage, supporters. Kickball. side out for the Guardians. But that does take away the backdoor play. Green Bay looking to exploit those gaps on set plays, especially once they get set in. Here's a three from the corner. That's off the rim. Wright had the rebound, tried to go back out with it, is able to. That's a tough look. Green Bay struggling to hit their shots. Alhaig with the floater. 80-71. Broncos hounding and surrounding Franklin. Loose ball, Franklin tracks it down and then gets fouled. Here is the long skip, corner three. Green Bay sputtering from three-point range. Alhaig flourishing in transition. Again, that is his strength. His ace in the hole. 82-71, largest lead of the game for the Broncos. The kick out, Kemp, three ball, off the rim again. Dead ball rebound to the Guardians. The Broncos yesterday had that 12-0 run to start the third. The Kings were able to close the margin, but they ran out of steam in the fourth. Kemp not giving up on that long ball, though. And resumes his course. His seventh three-pointer. 33 overall. And a much-needed score. Williams looking for the answer. We spoke to him at halftime. He gets bumped by Rogers. I should say that is Kemp who got bumped by Rogers. And Kemp will shoot two. Marcel Kemp, a graduate of Green Bay East. Pulling a lot of muscle for this Guardians team. 35 points now. 82-76. Hollins through the lane and in. Quick drive to the bucket for Jalen Hollins. He has 15. Kemp again. Can't hit that time. Second try, deflected. Rogers comes up with it. But again, the Guardians struggling to finish on the inside. Hoffrenning, no trouble on the fast break for the Broncos side. He's got 19. Four Broncos players in double digits. Williams leaps up, comes up short. That could have been an emphatic exclamation point, but it's a break for the Guardians, and they'll turn it into a three-point play chance. Brantley, baseline run. And with that, everyone for Green Bay has scored. I think almost everybody jumped the lane. Or that's what it looked like, but Brantley didn't touch rim on the free throw anyway. So it's an 8-point game. And all alone down low, but nothing to show for it was right. Green Bay was calling for a 3-second call. It's rare to have someone all alone like that. Now everyone with the hand check. Green Bay hangs on to it. Aaron dribble by Brantley. Cologne to Rogers, 2-on-1. Hoffrenning looking for another foul call. Hoffrenning growing irritated, but he does get the friendly bounce. And Kemp loses his shoe for the third time. He'll go back to the line. The foul tally going against the Broncos, and Kemp has been the marksman for the Green Bay team. 35 points and a few free throws along the way. It was a tough start in the third quarter for this Guardians team. But Kemp remains the steady anchor at the charity stripe. Reggie Rogers, 3-ball, corner pocket. Unofficially, that puts him up to 8. Kemp through the double, up and in. 39 for Marcel Kemp. Cologne has been quiet, looking to wake things up with a 3. Splash! And the long ball helping the Broncos pad their lead. Wright nearly had it. Couldn't hang on to it, but not for lack of effort. Montana fouls Combs. And Antonio will shoot 2 more with 37.7 on the clock. Compared to yesterday, when we saw a higher degree of physicality for the Broncos, and we'll see what some of the other league teams look like. Something they'll have to account for are teams that thrive on agility, but an empty possession at the free throw line for Combs. Montana with the step through, can't get it. Alhaig mistimed the jump. Guardians moving down court quickly again, but Kemp unable to finish. Montana tries again, this time gets the job done. His first bucket of the third, but it does give the Broncos a 14-point lead. Guardians reset. Extra pass, and free throws coming for Combs. He missed his last two. Green Bay, they've been to the line a lot. As I said, for the Broncos, they pride themselves on defense. They felt 85 was a little too much, especially some of the scores they gave up in NBL play. Each league's a little different, of course. Combs knocking down the front end. Rogers coming over to us, sharing a note. But as I said, I think for the Broncos, how do you handle teams that employ speed? I think that's going to be the challenge. And there certainly was no lack of it in the NBL, as that brings us to the end of the third. 96-84, the Broncos do get on that early run and slowly build up their numbers. So they lead by 12 with one more quarter to play. This is NPBA basketball on TSB television.
Women's basketball has been around a long time, and we've had so many opportunities, and now we're just continuing to get more.
Susan Shedley makes a great move.
It comes back to just feeling like you're part of a sorority of women. It's really fun to see. There's a lot of pride.
The 90s, late 90s, we was pumping out great women's basketball players. And still to this day, we're still there.
'96-84, one more quarter to go. Broncos putting up back-to-back 30-point quarters, 32 and 35 to be precise. But shooting woes early in the third find the Guardians trailing. In particular, Cargyle did not score. He's still at 17. And that's one reason why the Broncos have pulled in front. A lot of missed bunnies down low, right, unable to convert that time. Here comes Alhaig. Extra pass to Hines for the layup. Just 6 points for Hines. Hollins 15, Alhaig 17, Hoffrening 21 to lead the Broncos. Montana with 15. Kick out, three, short. Alhaig snares the board. Hines to Haymore. Lets it fly, comes up short on the three. Hoffrening tips it back to him. Second try, not there. Alhaig leaps in from nowhere to collect the O-board. Now Hines wants a three. Bullseye. So Decoy Hines, who scored just 4 points entering this frame, opens the fourth with back-to-back buckets, and the Broncos, a second-half team with this contingent. Again, several crossovers from the Bulldogs. The kick out, the three. Campcat knock it down. He picked up several in the first half, but is he running out of steam? Like we said, stamina, endurance could be factors. Hoffrening picks up his own miss. 23 points for Hoffrening. Mr. Clean down low. Kemp through the lane. He's got it. And Marcel Kemp goes to 41 points. Again, the Guardians are just 7 players. So makes it a little easier to build up those individual accolades, those individual totals. But the graduate of Green Bay East showing up in a big way today. The three-point play goes down. Kemp has been money at the free throw line. I don't think he's missed yet. Hoffrening one-on-one, had the ball slapped away. Big chance here for the Guardians. The three doesn't touch rim, but Wright is there to make the catch. Cargyle did not score in the third. Guardians reset. Entry pass bobbled by Wright. Snatched by Hoffrening. Bounce pass to Alhaig. Whistle. Alhaig fouled. He'll shoot 2. Alhaig, 17 points, 9 in the third. Alhaig converts both again. Not a lot of trips to the line for the Broncos compared to the Guardians, but Minnesota 9 of 12. Baseline attack, and free throws coming for Franklin, who only has 4 points. It will go against Alhaig. .937 left in the fourth. Franklin gets the front end to go. And if all goes well, again, our next broadcast will be the Queens of the Court home debut in the Women's NBL. Hoffrening couldn't catch up to the pass in time. Looked like he was under duress while running his route. Laser dish and the layup for Hansbrough. And this is what Green Bay needs. There's still time as we approach 9 minutes to go. Cologne spots the lane and takes it in. 7 for Stephen Cologne. Franklin. Bounce pass. 3 is long, right with the rebound. Cargyle now moves in. Can't get the second try to go either. And the rebound to Haymore, who stumbles. Alhaig open for 3. Picks up his own miss. Alhaig. We were talking about agility. Alhaig, an embodiment of it today. 21 for Alhaig. Runner offline for Franklin. I've always felt with Alhaig, he was always on the cusp, the precipice of a big-time performance. It looks like that breakout is coming today. Hoffrening, no look. That might not have worked out because had Hoffrening taken a peek, he would have seen Cargyle. Instead, Franklin scores the fast break layup. 109-93 the score. while time is running out, that does give Green Bay a lifeline. Again, our next scheduled broadcast, to my knowledge, is the Queens of the Court debut, April 25th. I don't have the NPBA schedule for the Broncos, and there were some caveats in the NBL as well. There were a couple of teams that had to cancel games. So just pay attention to the TSB Television YouTube channel, and we'll go from there. .7:56 left in the fourth. At the St. Paul Citadel Court, the Salvation Army. Home base to a lot of basketball over the years, the former site of the Howard Pulley Pro-Am. Checking into the game for the first time is Kavaarian Johnson. Off-running, lost it. Aaron throw and a turnover on the Broncos. But Kavaarian Johnson, that's number 22. He wore 12 yesterday. Meanwhile, Hollins to Hoffrenning. Matthew up to 25. Matthew, I do think, one of the centerpieces for this Broncos team, no matter which league they're in. Three on the way. Swish. Franklin, his first three-pointer. That makes it 111-96. But like yesterday, time becoming a factor. Hoffrenning thought about a three. Little high on the pass. And same thing for the Guardians. Hoffrenning, he's got some length. Not too many entry passes bounce off the backboard like that. However, with the Guardians throwing it away on the fast break, no harm, no foul. Hollins along the wing. Franklin's on him. And Hollins lost the handle. He's saying somebody touched it. Kemp underneath Montana, draws the foul. He'll shoot two. That will stop the clock with 6:29. .42 points for Kemp. Kemp 28 in the first half, but only one field goal so far in the fourth, and no three-pointers. But he remains a marksman, the Hawkeye at the free throw line. 17-footer doesn't go. Montana there for the putback. Montana was 17. And he's been putting up some big numbers off the bench since his arrival in the NPBA. On the other end, Cargyle trains the runner. Did not score in the third. 113-100. As both teams reach the century mark. But the Broncos do have time on their side, and they may look to use more of it in the closing stages. 5 on the shot clock. Hines, step through, stopped in his tracks, but the outlet too long, and Dwayne Brantley knows a golden chance was wasted. Broncos not in safe territory yet. Remember, they gave up a 13-point lead in about 4 minutes in one of their meetings with the Bulldogs. Blocked from behind. Montana reestablishes and comes away with a bucket. 19 for JJ. To follow up on his impressive showing yesterday against the Canada Kings. Extra pass from Franklin to Hansbrough. Montana with a traveling call. That's the last thing you want to have. And the Guardians ready to go. That would have been a big 3. Montana gets the rebound, and they'll make sure the Broncos get it across this time. 2-on-1. Alhaig blocked by Kemp. The superstar player today, as Cargyle completes the fast break play. Inbound violation on the Broncos. This is what we were talking about. In one of those meetings with the Bulldogs, they gave up a 13-point lead in about 4 minutes. Rogers says, all right, I'll take it back, but he can't hang on to it. And another fast break chance for the Guardians, converted by Brantley on the second try. Now the margin back within 9. Broncos will take a timeout. Finishing games. That's something the Broncos struggled with in NBL competition. Are we seeing a similar finish play out here? Ball control. Broncos have to get back to it. Getting a little lackadaisical with a couple of those sloppy turnovers off inbounds. Rogers short on the 3. Guardians have a chance now as they leak out once again. The hezzy and the finish for Dwayne Brantley. 6 points with the margin back within 7. And that could set up another photo finish. Rogers. Errant throw, and that leads to a turnover. And another fast break opportunity. But Franklin comes up short. Last touch by the Guardians. That's what I saw. There seems to be some confusion. From what I saw, it should be Broncos ball, unless... They're going to call a jump ball? Okay. I'm guessing the officials didn't see it, so they'll call a jump ball. I believe that's what they're trained to do if they're not sure. Hollins and Brantley exchanging a couple of blows. It is Broncos ball after all that. I thought it was off of the Guardians, but you can't review it. We don't have that capability. Hoffrening hampered from behind. It can be tough for the big men. 3 offline. O'Board. Kemp fakes. Goes to the rim and scores. 46 for Kemp. 1 possession game. Hoffrening scores. And then a technical foul on Hoffrening. The technical had to do with Hoffrening. And that official expressing his resentment. Hoffrening threw the ball, but it was away from the official. That was interpreted as a delay of game or an unsportsmanlike gesture. Either way, Hoffrening assessed attack. Cargile hits the technical free throw. .257 to go, 117, 113. Rogers double teams with Hollins for the poke. Block. Alhaig there for cleanup duty. Alhaig with 23. Rogers wincing. Stays in the game, but that could be trouble. Hollins swoops in for the steal. Alhaig collects. No, Hines. He and Hines got tied up, and I think that disrupted Alhaig. That could have been a dagger play. Instead, the extra pass again, and the foul. Counted for Rice. Green Bay driving on those back doors all game long. Chance to make it a 1-possession game again. Wright does. And we still have 2 minutes and 22 seconds. .119, 116. Anyone's game to win now. Alhaig, that was a tough pass. Last touched by Kemp. A break for the Broncos, but only 4.7 on the shot clock. Rogers trying to sub in after checking out for a moment. Again, 4.7 on the shot clock for the Broncos, so they'll have to work quickly if they can get this inbound in play. Hollins fires short. A chance to tie for Green Bay. And a bump. That will go on Montana. Last foul to give for Minnesota. Kemp attacks the baseline. Hines cuts him off. Ball up for grabs. Hollins scoops it up. and he'll take care of it this time. First bucket of the fourth for Hollins. It's a big one. 121-116, but the Broncos haven't won it yet. Brantley into the lane. Gets held up. 3-ball. Rattles out. Right. The kick out to Kemp. Was looking for the 3. Fires the fadeaway and hits. That will be 49 points, but they put it in the wrong column, and the clock is now counting down. They're going to have to fix that too. They're going to have to put some time back on. 1:04 on the clock. That 3 makes it 121-119. The shot clock will have to be reset too. 1:30 to go. Big fadeaway 3 by Kemp. 49. Alhaig. Every possession now magnified. Alhaig cut off. Montana cleans it up again. J.J. Montana. Clutch player. Pass tip by Rogers. Montana! Elevation! And the slam! No regard for human life. Back-to-back plays for Montana. But Wright follows up with a bucket of his own. 125-121. Broncos have to play this carefully. They haven't won it yet. They get it across. Hollins nearly lost it. Alhaig in the corner. Hines around his coverage and in. Now the pressure is on Green Bay. They need a 3 or a quick 2. They'll probably look for the 3 from the corner, and they draw a foul. Franklin hit on the 3. That will stop the clock. 3 free throws for Franklin, who has 11 points. However, there's only 24.7 on the clock. So even if Franklin makes all 3, you're going to have to foul at least once. I don't know if they give you just 1 to give in the final 2 minutes or if you have to go all the way to 4. Either way, this is a big trip. Franklin makes all 3. It's a 1-possession game, but the Guardians cannot play for a stop because there's 24.7 on the game clock. And Franklin misses the second, so now you have to play foul and chase. I heard one of the Guardians players on the bench yell foul right away. If you don't get the steal or an O-board, that's what you got to do. Montana's got it. There's the foul from Wright. Now, is that the 1 to give, or do they have to foul 2 more times? I think that's what they have to do, foul 2 more times. In the NBA, you get 1 to give. In the WNBA as well, you get 1 to give in the final 2 minutes. At this level, you've got to use them up quickly. So 1 more foul to give. Hoffrenning will sub in for Hines. One more inbound. 1 more foul. If you can't get the steal, there it is with 17.9. But you're not in a good spot here if you're the Guardians, unless you can get that steal. And J.J. Montana, a big reason for that. 23, 8 in the fourth quarter, but a couple of big buckets. A putback, and then a slam off the steal. That's 4. That should mean a side out. They're lining up, but that's just 4. Montana. One more inbound to make. Finds Alhaig. Cargyle was wrapping up Hollins and was waiting for the foul call. That cost about 3.5 seconds. He had him wrapped up in a bear hug, but Hollins wasn't making any kind of play with the ball, hence the stalemate. I think that's why it took a few seconds for the foul to be whistled. Hollins knows we just have to run out the clock. Hollins has chipped in throughout this game. And he chips in 2 big free throws. That should give the Broncos enough of a cushion unless the Guardians can hit a quick 3 here. And even then, you'd have to play foul and chase. Kemp, desperation 3, banks it in. But that stops the clock with 5.3. You're going to have to foul right away, and they do. Kemp with 52 points. But all Montana needs is to make 1 free throw. And that's ball game. They reset the clock to 4 seconds. Or they stop the clock with 4 seconds, I should say. Montana just needs to make 1. If he misses both, then hold on to your butts. But that won't be a problem. So the Broncos had to sweat it out, but J.J. Montana, apropos that he hits these free throws, because that will secure the victory for the Broncos over the Guardians of Green Bay. Green Bay will take a timeout, but with 4 seconds left, there realistically isn't enough time, barring something weird, and I mean super weird. .131, 126, just 4 seconds left. And again, barring something weird, Broncos should hang on for the win. Montana, 25 points. Hoffredding, 27. George Alhaig, 23. I feel like this was his breakout performance. But Montana, a couple of big buckets, 2 big free throws. He's coming off the bench. But I would have to think he will rise among the ranks for the Broncos faithful. Kemp again. That's game. 131-126. The Broncos had to fight off a gritty effort from a Green Bay team that just had 7 players, but they hold on for the win. J.J. Montana, the new arrival. A big reason for that. Hoffrenning doing his usual work. Maybe it was harder than it had to be for the Broncos, but it's another step forward for a team that is hoping to make a splash and make some waves in the NPBA after their NBL season wrapped up in late February. 131-126 the final. The Broncos complete the weekend sweep and I believe go to 2-2. We'd like to thank all of you for watching this weekend, and we hope you'll join us for our Queens of the Court home debut, April 25th. And stay tuned for more NPBA games in the spring and summer months ahead. Thanks for watching. We're joined by Jalen Hollins and J.J. Montana, two of the many names who came up big for the Broncos in this win. J.J., I'll start with you because you had a couple of big buckets, a putback, a slam, and then 2 free throws to clinch it. Maybe it was harder than you wanted it to be, but, oh, here comes Reggie.
Y'all know I came back. Y'all know I came back, you know? That's what we do out here.
Hold on,
Okay, my bad. He talking to first? My bad.
Well, so quite the debut here at home for the Broncos. It's almost as if you've been playing for this team for years.
Nah, I'm still fresh. We still building our chemistry. My team trusted me with the ball, so I went out there to do what I do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So why don't you give us a little bit of your basketball background, where you came from, because based on your play this weekend, I'm wondering why didn't the Broncos reach out to you sooner?
I went to high school for recording arts. I played Sizzle, basketball AAU.
That's the program that Brian Sandifer runs, right?
Yep. We play with him all the time. We had good runs there.
Well, that Sizzle program known for putting out a lot of big-name athletes, including a couple of NBA guys, one who has a ring, and Chet Holmgren, but I digress. So coming in, how excited are you to join this team and come off the bench and step up like you did against Canada and against Green Bay tonight? How do you think you're acclimatizing to the Broncos here?
Real good. I like coming off the bench, just watching my team, see what they messing up on so I could talk to them, and then we fix it when I get in. And then, yeah.
We good. Feed off the energy off how the starters come in, you know. You feed off how the starters start the game. If you come out slacking, he doing us so bad right now.
We do trash. He come in and do better. All right.
Yeah, so how long are those reports, JJ?
You said what?
How long are those reports? Because you're jotting down everything they mess up.
Oh, I don't know. Whenever coach put me as a starter, then he put me as a starter, but
Team, though.
He's a great addition.
He's a great addition to our team. I mean, all of them are. I mean, this was a Bulldog before inside of there, and we all still working together on this season. I mean, it's fresh, and we probably with our second game playing together, second game inside of there, and we 2-0 playing together. I mean, like, even the Kenosha, if we was all there, I mean, we are playing a lot better, like I was telling you the last time with the interview. This team is starting to roll, and we're starting to figure out how to play. We just got to get a little bit better on finishing games off. That's about it. I said that yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. We got to start finishing them out a little bit better.
Well, Jalen, what would you make of this finish?
You know, we went on a little bit of a slump. You know, we threw in a lineup to see what they can do while we were up big. You know, coach recognized it pretty early that, you know, we need to get the main guys back in real quick. But, you know, that's our job. You know, teams go on runs all the time during the game. You know, we just got to – it's about punches. You know, you're going to take the punch or you're going to throw some punches back. Luckily, we threw the punches back. Got a 5-point lead at the end of the game to win the game.
So what are you excited about with all the new pieces? A lot of Bulldogs players coming over to play this league for the Broncos. So what excites you?
I mean, honestly, really just the trust that this team has in me. They tell me I need to go shoot the ball. You know, they put a lot of pressure on my back, and you know that's what I'm really really liking with this team. They trust me a lot, and you know, I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else right now.
All right, anything else the three of you would like to add?
Go Broncos!
Go Broncos! And like I said last time, we're making a scene and we're making something happen right now. So every time y'all see us, we winning. That's from now on. Ain't no more of that losing and having weird games on YouTube about Bulldogs beating us.
Yes, sir. Go Broncos.
Hey, go Broncos. Be out of here, y'all.
Go Broncos, and he's right. We are out of here. So for the rest of our crew, this is Mike Beaton thanking you for watching NPBA basketball on TSP Television. We'll see you next time.